everyone. In this episode, we are so excited to share with you our interview with Michelle Carter. We are going to hear her fantastic journey of going from a child actor, finding fame at a young age, to becoming a director and producer of her own production company. We're also going to hear about her miraculous love story with her husband that was an undercurrent through all of this. And we're also going to hear her talk about how she had an incredible resilience and optimism birthed from a tragic event at a young age. It's a great journey. We're so excited for you to join us on it. Hello and welcome to, God dang it, I had the first one perfectly. What happened?
This is going in the bloopers.
It should. It really should, because I usually nail it. And I'm not.
30 minutes of intro.
Oh, God. Oh, my God.
And that was all my time. Thank you so much.
Hello, welcome to The Big Twist, where we talk to other creatives about the plot twists that have defined their lives. We are so excited to be here today with our fantastic guest.
Hi, I'm Michelle Carter. I'm a director, producer, and owner of Shop by the Carters.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Yay. Shop by the Carters.
Thanks for having
Love
me,
it.
guys.
We are so excited to have you. I can't wait to get into your plot twists and all of your things.
All of the things.
But
Yeah.
before we do that, we like to get started with a series of rapid fire questions.
Okay.
So here we go. And it might not have been the questions we sent you.
Oh,
so just to
okay.
throw-
Even better. Good thing I didn't do
Try
my
to
homework.
Keep them as short as possible.
Plot
and
twist, plot
here
twist
we
already.
go. All right. What's your favorite food?
Taco Bell.
Nice.
Least favorite color?
Purple. Sorry if that offends somebody, but maybe purple.
sorry.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Favorite city in the world?
Wherever my husband is. I don't know.
Nice.
I'm about to go to New York, so I want to be like New York maybe, but like I also don't know if that's true. But it's sorry, but it's not LA. I can tell you that.
Ooh, we'll get into that.
Sorry.
Ooh, okay. Favorite character from a movie?
Ooh, Laura Croft, Tomb Raider.
Nice. Favorite movie?
Favorite movie? Either Parent Trap, not original, Lindsay Lohan, Parent Trap, or Grease. Those were
Grease.
like my childhood like favorite movies.
I love that.
Yes.
The latest Parent Trap, I think. Oh no, I'm thinking about the other one, Freaky Friday. That's really good.
Oh, also
Yeah,
great movie.
Amazing. Favorite hobby?
Dance.
What kind of dance?
Oh, well, I grew up doing like classical ballet and then like branched out into like everything else, like hip hop, jazz, all of that. But really just anything like moving my body. It's just like a good, healthy thing for me, for my mental. So like I'll take anything, but
Love it.
hip hop probably right now if I'm going to go take a class.
Love it.
Yeah.
Favorite subject in school?
Oh, math, hands down.
Math?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. I was a math girly.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's
It's just not a
awesome.
typical answer from an actor, I feel like. So that's great.
I would agree.
You're not typical.
Were you
I'm
in
not
AP
typical,
classes?
Anna. No.
You were good?
I was. Yeah. I was.
That AP class, AP
Gifted, all of
calculus
that.
was my hardest class.
I had to, fun fact, had to teach myself calculus on set because I was working on a project while taking my calculus class in college. And I had to keep going. Like I couldn't miss 2 weeks and like not do it. So I had my friend, I mean, we're getting way too into like a story now.
No,
but
that's
this is what I'm
interesting.
saying.
Yeah.
My friend had the class after me. And so she would like show up a little early, take everybody's like pictures of everybody's notes, send them to me, and I'd be on set in the trailer, like with my calculus book, like figuring out what the notes meant and like teaching myself calculus. Cause by the time I came back, whenever I wrapped that movie, was like finals. And so I was like,
Wow.
I did this whole class all semester. I'm not gonna like give up now. So yeah, I had to like teach myself calculus a little
That
bit.
is really interesting.
Yeah.
That is fantastic. So I wanted to ask you, what was your entry point into the industry? And that sounds like that was a little bit of a lead-in, but there might
Okay.
be another answer.
Yeah, no,
Like
I
what?
think so. My entry point, I started when I was 14. That's when I first like professionally started. Like I did community theater and dance and all of that growing up. Because my parents were also very creative. Like we played instruments, like I played the trumpet, like we've always been a creative family.
Cool.
But there's a lot of layers to this. But the quick answer is I remember being like 13, 14, watching an episode of Hannah Montana with my dad on TV. And I was like, I could do that. And
That's awesome.
I look at my
That
dad.
confidence, I love
Yeah.
it.
And I was like, I could do that. And he goes, yeah, you could do that.
Aw,
And
that's
like
great.
believed in me immediately. And I was like, I want to do that. And he was like, seriously? And I was like, yeah, I want to do that. And so my parents were just so supportive and did everything that they could to make it a possibility, make it a reality.
I love that about your parents.
They're
That's
the best.
fantastic.
What did they do for a living? You said they were creative?
But not in there like every day. Like,
Okay.
I think that's also part of it. I think both of them would have loved to have pursued this if their parents would have encouraged
Oh, that's
it.
cool. So they were on board.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
because we all did like community theater together growing up. Like if I was in a play, it's because my dad was the lead of that play, or because my mom was the lead of that play, and like I just happened to get whatever kid role was there. Like they weren't doing it for me. They loved community theater. Like
And
that's
this
my
was-
family.
That's amazing. This was in the South, right? You're
Yes,
from,
I'm from Mississippi, so this was like southern small little community theater.
love this.
Wow.
So my dad's an architect, and my mom at the time was a juvenile probation officer. So
Wow,
super
very
far
different.
from like the creative. I mean, architects definitely have some creative like in the drawing and designing, but not exactly like, a typical actor whose parents are in the industry and like the furthest thing from it. So like for me to want to do this and for them to be like, yeah, let's do it was like, how? We've never seen anyone do it. There's no blueprint. There's no, oh, let me call my friend who just happens to be a producer in the industry and try to get you an agent. Like
Yeah.
it was from, okay, let's figure it out.
Wow.
And so that's also really daunting.
Yeah, that's an undertaking.
So what did you do next as a family?
So this is where I'm saying it's like the bigger, grander scheme to kind of put everything into context. It was about 2008 in Mississippi, and Hurricane Katrina had just hit. And so that's also what kind of allowed them to be like, why not? Because we just lost everything. The hurricane hit, our house was destroyed, school was destroyed, all of that. Like I went to school in trailers,
Oh, whoa.
like the
That's
whole
horrible.
nine.
So that's a plot twist right there. Your whole family had a big plot twist.
Very
Yeah.
much, very much.
Yeah.
But through that, we had so many opportunities because people would come from all over to help our town. So we had met some people that lived in Glendale, and they were the nicest, most incredible. I love them to death.
Aw.
Amazing people. And they like knew that I was like interested in this sort of thing because we had tried to pursue acting out of New Orleans, which was like the nearest largest city, who was like kind of, it's not
Yeah.
like what it is today where like, oh, Atlanta's popping and New Orleans has an industry. Like
Yeah.
there was like low budget commercials happening out of New Orleans. And so like we had gotten a small agent and gone on like 2 auditions in like a year. That was the extent of it. Katrina hit. They came out, heard that I was interested in that. They're like, well, if you ever want to try, you can come stay with us in Glendale and like give it a go. So that was the first
Wow.
like door that opened in the sense of, oh, we could have some sort of like familiarity. We're not just going out there completely cold. And they're not in the industry, but they just happen to live in California. And so I was like, close enough,
Oh,
you
they
know?
weren't even in the industry.
No.
Amazing. Okay.
No. The next thing was there was like a scouting event. My mom's gonna be so mad that I don't know what it's actually called, but the name of the event was Pro Scout, but it was like a actor. You would come and there'd be like agents there, and it was like local. And it was like not that big of a deal, but there was an acting coach from LA who would like come and give like the little classes during these little events, and he would pick his favorites, and like say you should come to LA and take my next level of the class, and that's how he makes his money.
Amazing.
But so of course he was like, yeah, you should definitely do it. And so it just all happened at like the same time where we were like, well, if I want to take this class that he invited me to, so it felt very special, we would have a place to stay now. So it's only a 2-week like intensive. Me and my mom were like, all right, let's go give it a try. Like we have nothing to lose. Katrina just, everything's gone. Like there's no lease on life type of emotion.
Yeah.
So why not? It's 2 weeks. What
Wow.
could go wrong? So it was 2 weeks and then I never moved back is really what happened.
Wow.
Came out for the 2 weeks. It went so well, like got an agent immediately. The acting coach was like, you got to keep her out here. You can't go back type of thing.
Amazing.
And so
you had one of
that's-
those wild stories where it just went.
A little bit, like off the top, yes.
But your
Um,
parents were willing to just relocate so quickly.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
it had worked out that my mom had changed jobs like right before all of this, and so she was able to work from home. So she was able to come with me, and my dad and my younger sister stayed. Which now being like an adult, realizing what a sacrifice that really
Your
was.
parents were apart from each other.
Yes.
Did they
and
see each other? Did you see them on weekends, or it was just like
Well,
months at a time? that you didn't-
months? Yeah, it was like
Wow.
at first we would
Wow.
try. She would, I think it was like every 3 months we would like make a trip back, but then it got to be longer and longer as things started getting more expensive because California is not cheap. But yeah, so the sacrifice that they made was huge. And like,
this is incredible.
I
We're
kind of
heroes.
understood it, but like not as much as I do now,
Yeah,
you know? And so
absolutely.
they're the best. Like if you take anything away from this stories, my parents are incredible. Like that's what I want to put out there.
What it sounds like. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're the best.
What were some of the roles you started to get first? What were you cast in?
Very full circle moment. My first ever real job was on Hannah Montana.
What?
Yeah.
So you said I can do that, and then you went and
And then
actually
I did
did
it. Yeah.
on the show you talked about.
On the show. Yeah.
Michelle, come on.
I know.
That is insane.
You couldn't write it better,
No,
right? You
that's
really
amazing.
couldn't.
That's
so
amazing.
yeah, I started in the like Disney circuits. So I did Hannah Montana was my first job. I got a guest starring role in Hannah, and I got to dance on it, which was part of the
Oh,
reason
wow.
why I booked the job is my dance background.
Sure.
Then I did Sweet Life on Deck. I did. I became a movie surfer for Disney Channel.
What's that?
Back in the day, it was like, what's the best way to describe it? They were kind
is
of
it like
like
being on contract?
no, yes and no. Like it was a recurring thing, but you were like someone that would go to the next like big movie that was coming out, and you would interview them for Disney Channel. Like you represented Disney Channel. So like and it was always like different generations. There was like 3 different rounds, maybe 4 different rounds, and I was in like the 3rd generation of like movie surfers. I always joke that like I can't break my movie surfer voice because I'm like, hey guys, it's Michelle and da 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 da, and like I'm here on the red carpet with da 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 da, and like it's always like TC's like turn your movie surfer voice off.
You're
Like
such a natural.
so good.
thank you. But that's been the thing. I'm
Did
like,
they
that's
literally
hilarious.
teach you this, or like, okay, smile all the time?
no, I mean that's just like that's the Disney way. Like you kind of got to know. That was a very rigorous, like gruesome's very dramatic. A very rigorous audition process though, like being a kid.
I bet.
It was basically like
You
an
beat out
SNL type
thousands
of
and thousands of children.
yes.
and it was like SNL?
It was
Wait.
like, in the sense of like the audition process. Like
Yeah.
you had to come with your own material and like interview somebody on the spot. Like they would be like, okay, today you're going to be interviewing, and they draw from a hat. And like, so you had to be on it at like 14.
No.
And so it's like
Whoa,
it was
what a
very
skill
intense.
set.
Yes. And I
So
had
what
like,
you're
I thought
saying
I
is
bound it.
you
Like it was
could
a whole thing.
easily interview us.
Probably.
You wanna
Right
take
now.
over?
No.
Why don't we have Michelle ask the questions next?
Then we won't learn about her.
I know. That would be really funny.
Guys.
I'm
No.
kidding. I'm kidding.
But-
But also incredible.
No, that was really fun. That was like,
That's
I
something
got
else.
to do some really fun things, interview some really incredible people at such a young age, and like still being very new in this industry, like learning set etiquette. Even
Ooh,
through that,
Yeah.
I just remember, you take something from every set. And I remember one of the first things was being like a hot mic, like learning what
Oh,
that
yeah.
was.
Oh yeah.
And
Did you
just,
get in trouble for
I
saying
did not, but I was me and my other movie surfer who was like a veteran, like he was an older from the generation prior to me. We were doing it together. And I remember like somebody had like walked on set and I didn't know who they were. And I was kind of like saying something to the effect of like, not the most positive, but like, who is this? Why are they here type of thing.
Yeah.
And like, I think they were putting headphones on and I was so green. I didn't understand any of that. And he was like, hey, you're mic'd. Don't say anything right now.
Nice.
And I was like, I didn't even think of that.
Good for him.
Thank you so much. And it has stuck with me
Good
to this
co-star.
day.
That was
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. But he knew, like, I was like 15. Like, I don't know any better.
Yeah.
Not that I was like cursing anybody out or anything, but just like I could have probably been more professional in that moment of just like, don't say anything. You have a hot mic on.
But you don't know that. You have to learn that.
Of course.
That is definitely
Yeah.
something as
And
a
I'm-
fellow actor. And
yeah.
my story of learning that is wild. I won't tell it.
Oh, wait. No, I kind of want to know. Tell me.
need to know it.
Am I really gonna say
Yes.
that
Anna,
on
you
camera
have
in
to.
this?
You have to say it now.
If not, I'm leaving. Tell
Sorry.
me
Give us
right
the
now.
Cliff notes.
Sorry, Mom. I was on a commercial and it was like a spoof of Sex in the City. So of course,
I
when
love
it's
that.
like downtime, we're all just like 4 gals chatting.
Of course.
And I had just started dating my partner. And I was very excited about us, and I was very excited about his body.
Oh, let's go, Anna.
Specifically his penis. And I let the gals know how I felt about it. And later at the lunch table,
Does the sound guy come up
By
to
the
you?
way, Taylor Swift just dropped her new album last night, and doesn't she talk about Travis Kelce?
That's
So,
literally the first thing that came to my
I
head
was
when
like,
you
I'm
said
telling
that.
you the
Is
same
that
story.
like awkward song? Yes.
So I haven't listened to it, but and I'm like, oh God, am I trying to like be like Taylor Swift? No, I'm not.
This was
but-
way before that.
Oh,
by the
way
way.
before. Yeah, this is way before. But at the lunch table, then like when we were all getting lunch, one of the like executives from the commercial company, the ad agency, was like, she was like young and hip and like awesome. And she was just like, I just said young and hip and awesome, but anyway, I did. But she was super cool. And she just came up to me and very casually like pulled a grape and was like, really loved hearing about your boyfriend's penis. Great. Really happy for you. And I was like, I was mortified. And I was like,
that's amazing though.
Why did it? I was like, oh, right. I was mic'd the entire time.
I am so proud of you for telling that story.
It may not make it in.
I love that. It has to make it in.
It has to make it
There
in.
will be no segue to the next section unless we add that in. I'm saying that right now. I'm forcing your hand.
I hear you.
That's amazing. I love that.
So still my current partner.
So-
Now I'm blushing. After the story, I'm blushing. I didn't blush while I was telling it. Now I'm getting red.
That's
now
amazing.
you're thinking about it being in the cut. So
That's
Probably.
So segueing into back to the
Sorry.
story.
yes.
Hot mic. You learned a
so-
hot mic. You were a movie surfer.
Movie surfer.
Disney surfer.
Yeah. Did like a few fun commercials in the beginning. Just, when you're a kid, there's so much opportunity for just like random jobs.
Was it hard for you to go to school while you were doing all this? Did you have a
Yes.
hard time with the studio teacher?
So I did what they called Options for Youth, which was like a big thing in the child like actor community. You would go to school twice a week for 1 hour to like take your tests, and then they would give you booklets and you would go home and you would like do your work at home. So I had to be like pretty motivated to get my homework done and things done at home, go in, take your tests. If you passed, then you could like move on to the next like subject, I guess. And there were like 10 tests per subject. And like, it was very, I don't know, you check it off. It started out as like a delinquent program, like kids that would get pregnant or got kicked out of school or whatever. It started
is
as that,
how
and
they
then
got their
actors
education.
like found out about it and started like utilizing it.
Wow.
So I didn't have to do like set teachers or anything like that because I was still technically getting my hours like
I
that
see.
way.
So they just shot around then.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah. I think there was, I do remember actually on Hannah and Sweet Life on Deck having to be in like the schoolroom, but that's because they all also had to get their like school hours done. So they just threw me in there too. But for most things, I didn't have to worry about that because and then I graduated early and did all of that. Got your, the CHESP, all of that. So you don't have to have the school teacher.
Huh.
Did you ever?
No.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
That's like kid actor things. You take a CHESP.
I wasn't
God, it's
included.
been so long.
What
so
is it? Can you explain? for
Yeah,
the
I could be
audience what a
butchering this
CHESP
right
is?
now. But generally, I could be messing up the ages. Once you hit a certain age, I want to say it was like 15 or 16, you could take this test. And it was basically like getting your GED so that when you were on set, you didn't have to have a set teacher. So it made you more marketable because they could save costs on teachers.
Oh, wow.
They could work you for longer hours because you basically were graduated. So yeah, I only had to do the set thing, like set teacher thing once or twice because then I got the CHESP and moved on. So you had to like take this like kind of like an SAT type test.
So you were really smart, obviously. You got all
Smart
of this.
enough.
You crammed in all this knowledge in
Yeah.
a short amount of time.
Exactly, yeah. So I was still doing like my high school and everything on the side, but yeah, I took the CHESP, so I didn't really have to worry about schooling on set, and that was like a big deal.
And then
as a
after
kid
that,
actor.
I'm so curious to talk about how did your perception of the industry and your craft change as your brain kept developing? Because I feel like a child's perception of what this industry is like is very different than an adult's perception.
Yeah,
And I just wondered if you had a shift,
That's
what that
such an
shift was.
interesting question.
Well, especially because you kept acting as you got older into an adult.
Yeah,
So like so you went through the whole thing.
I think, and I don't know if this exactly answers your question, but I think as a kid, it was just so fun. Like everything was fun. And I was always very business savvy as a kid. Like I was very mature for my age. And I hate when people say that, but like I just was. That was always my parents' like requirement. Like if you act up, if you get in trouble, if you do anything, we're taking you home. So I had to kind of like grow up quickly and take this very seriously. So I always knew it was a job, but it was always just so fun. And the auditions were always there. And this was just what it was going to be. Like once I decided and once I started having success, I was like, great, I'm going to be an actor. Like there it is. I never saw the possibility of it like not always being like that. And then as I got older, like you do start to see like some of the darker sides of Hollywood. I was very blessed that I was very protected as a child actor. Like I didn't run into any of those issues. Like I don't carry any of those significant traumas
That's
on
great.
that a lot of like
God.
fellow child actors
So
have.
great to hear.
Mhm.
But as you get older on sets, like you do start to see there are other sides of the industry that are just like not as fun, not as glamorous, if you want to say. I would never really ever consider this that glamorous, really. Even as a child, it was just fun, but I wouldn't be like, oh, it's such a glamorous job.
That's interesting.
I know it always has that stigma that everyone thinks it is, but like for me, I'm like, no, it's a job, and you go and you do your job and you take it very seriously.
Yeah.
But I also, maybe that's just like the like overthinker in me and like the perfectionist in me that like doesn't allow myself.
Well, it's also who you had to be. I mean, like
Yeah.
the weight of what your family was going to
Sacrificed,
do was entirely on your shoulders, right? Because your siblings are not
Correct.
actors.
Yeah.
So you were the reason they were here in LA.
Mhm.
So then if
Yeah.
you failed, it's like, oh, like that's on me that we
like,
came here.
You uprooted your whole life.
Yeah.
You made my sister like change schools and during middle school, like the worst time ever.
Did you feel that pressure?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think I'll always kind of carry that pressure because we're still here.
Yeah.
And no matter what part of the industry I'm in, I know that everyone is here because of me.
Your whole family's still here.
They
right?
have all moved out here now.
Yeah.
Like at some point, my dad and sister were able to move out and just start a new life here. But it was all because some crazy little 14-year-old was like, I want to do that. So I know that that's like wild. And I know
you
that it's
did
not all, thank you, I tried. I know it's also not on me. Like when I have these conversations with my parents, they're like, we were the adults. Like we chose to do this. Like don't put this all on
Yeah,
your shoulders.
That's true.
Which I
Yeah.
appreciate.
Because your parents are amazing. So of course
They
see
are
it the way
amazing.
it is.
But of course you do like carry that a little bit.
Mhm.
And so I always want to make everybody proud and know that it
Mm.
wasn't like sacrificed for nothing.
Mhm.
Because when you're 14 and you like move to LA and you're in this big city, you're like, oh my God, LA's the best city on earth. You know, you think all these things. And then you get older and you're like, actually, like there is something really amazing about growing up in a small town and living a slow life.
Mm.
Not saying that I would trade it for anything, but now knowing like that they gave that up when they don't have to deal with like the craziness that we deal with now in LA.
Traffic. 2 hours of traffic.
Cost of living, like the people out here, not everybody's as nice as like the Southern people we grew up with, of just like, hey, sweetheart, when you walk down the street to a random stranger. Like that doesn't happen in LA. You get like mean looks when you walk across the street. Like it's a total change of pace that they were willing to give up for me. And now being an adult, knowing that like it's not always going to be fun and pretty and shiny lights. And they chose to do that. Like that was really cool.
Did you stop working for Disney at some point and start just like branching out on, were you like working in independent movies? Like what other content were you
Yeah,
where'd you
making
go from
as,
there?
as an adult?
Yeah. So after the whole like Disney Nickelodeon run, you kind of age out of that at a certain point. I was lucky enough to do a really fun like feature. A Jerry Bruckheimer movie. It was called Project Almanac. Wow. Sorry, this is like pulling this from the archives now. It was called Project Almanac, and that was really fun. That was my first like real feature film that I did. I branched out starting to do more like theatrical television. Like I did House. I got to be like patient of the week on House and do like
Patient of the week.
yeah, my arm was chopped off and like a whole
Whoa.
dramatic scene. Like that was the first time I had to like cry on camera. And I'm not a very like cry-y person, so that was very stressful for me. I'm not like a cry on cue actor. Like that's not me. I have to really get there. Started to do more dramatic things like that. And then I would say about 10 years into my career is when I booked my first series regular, which is like the pinnacle. That's what you
Yes.
move out here to do.
Yeah.
And so that was huge. But up until that point, like, I'm in school, I'm nannying, I'm working my retail job, I'm auditioning, doing everything.
Wow.
And then like it all paid off like in that moment, which was really, really fun.
That's so cool.
What was the show?
It was called The Quad. It was on BET. We did 2 seasons.
Oh, I remember that.
Did
The
you
Quad.
really?
Well, I worked
that's
for
funny.
BET, so I know the Quad. Yeah.
No
When did you
way.
work at-
Were
you
you
have
like
so
at BET or at like Viacom or Nickelodeon?
Oh, I worked on 2 BET shows.
Wait,
So
which ones?
Yeah, it was called Games People Play. That
Okay,
was the first
yeah.
one. And the second one was called Sacrifice.
Oh my gosh, we probably know so many of the same
We
people
probably
then.
know similar people. Yeah.
That's hilarious. Like most of the time whenever I say the show, people are like, oh, okay, I'll have to look it up. Like only a very certain community like actually watched and really loved the show. But to like
Yeah.
Gen Pop, like oh, okay, that's cool.
And it's
Like
shot
for
in-
you,
Yeah,
like
no,
of
I
all
know the
people,
Quad,
for you
yeah.
to actually know that, like that's so funny. I love that.
That is funny. And it's shot in Atlanta.
It's
right?
shot in Atlanta.
So,
Yeah. So I got to live over there, which was fun because my husband at the time was going through a pivot of his own. And so it allowed for him to kind of like move back because he's from Georgia. moved back from LA to there and kind of regroup and figure out what he wanted to do. So the timing of everything was just great.
I have to just point out, the way you just said that was my husband at the time, and like,
Oh,
TC is
also-
still your husband.
Sorry.
but like you were trying to say at the time,
Flip that.
he was also going
Boyfriend.
through.
Yes. Also
got it.
boyfriend
Okay.
at the time.
Got it.
Not
Now your-
husband.
now
then.
your husband.
Now my husband. Yes.
I just wanted to clarify
Thank
in case that
you.
hit anybody else the way it hit me. I was like,
Fix
wait, husband
that.
at the time.
Fix
I was like,
me.
y'all are still married, right? He's right
Yeah,
out
no,
here.
he's in the other room. He's still
in the other
there,
room.
holding it down.
And I do want to dive into that a little bit because you have a production company together.
Yes.
And he's also a creative.
Mhm.
And my understanding is that he had fame when he was young as well, right?
Yes.
So like maybe talk a little bit about that, how you met, and like
Yes.
do you have a
Yeah,
lot
it's
of things in
fascinating.
common, obviously?
We do. Like too much. Like we're one of those people that are like so annoyingly the same. But we do have differences, like things that we
You're
fight
very
about.
different
But
people.
we
know
are.
your husband. We're very different people.
That's true. But when it comes to like the little things, like what bonded us in the beginning, we were like, you like that too? Oh, wait. And you do this and you do that. And like all of our nerdy things aligned and all of our like he was a dancer too. And I was like, a boy dancer that's actually like attractive? Like, whoa. Because, you know, back in Mississippi, like that wasn't a thing. Boys weren't dancing like they do now.
I can only picture your wedding dance was phenomenal.
Can I tell you,
I
he
bet it
performed
was.
for me.
He performed for you?
Guys, it was the best day
Come
ever.
on.
Because he used to be in a boy band.
Uh-huh.
That was his like success. Like they were signed to Sony. They traveled all over. They did Japan. They did Germany. They did
Wow.
Kazakhstan.
What was the
They-
name of the band?
They went through multiple iterations. For his sake, I'm not gonna name it because he gets so embarrassed.
Okay.
But yeah, they had, like you said, a lot of success at a young age. And so like while I was doing like the acting movie thing, he was like touring the world at 15, 16. And so that was fun to navigate. But we made it work, and it was just also what bonded us. But yeah, so the fact that we're both creative has allowed us to kind of like sympathize with each other's struggles and
Absolutely.
the ups and downs of the industry. And, you know, when one person has their like weak moment, the other person can be like, I get it. And let me just like take up the mantle right now.
Oh, that's really cool.
And then when the other person needs it, which we've had many moments like that, Atlanta being the first one, and then we've had ones after that. So it's really nice to just kind of like understand each other on like so many levels.
Yeah.
There's definitely times when I'm like, why can't you just be an accountant? Because then like the income is like a little steadier, and we're not having to like wonder where the next job or paycheck's coming
It's almost
from.
like, you want to be an accountant? No. Do
Right.
you want to be an accountant?
Yeah. Who's going to do it?
Totally.
Who's going to have the practical job?
know.
Totally. But no, that's just like the running joke. I'm like, why couldn't I have just been
And
an accountant?
how did you end up meeting, by the way?
Okay, so we actually met in that acting class of like the coach. Full
The
circle
coach
again.
really
Yeah.
changed your
Whoa,
life.
whoa, whoa. Wait, the acting class that you came out here for just 2 weeks for?
Yes.
That's when you met?
So not in
So
those
literally
2
from the
weeks,
very beginning.
But
Oh, okay,
yes,
okay.
basically within 6 months.
Oh my God.
This is again,
Amazing.
I don't know if anyone cares about this, but this is how it started.
We care.
This is I was in the class, and then how the class worked was like you'd come for 2 weeks, you paid for 2 weeks, and then you could come back whenever you wanted and like help be in scenes with other people and things like
cool.
that. So it was also like a way to like build community as a kid and like keep your skills sharp. So I was coming back on and off for months. Whenever I wasn't at school or auditioning, I would just be there because why not? I knew nobody else. And so there was always like new people coming in and out for the 2-week intensives. And I didn't know this, but the acting coach was like setting us up, like full on, like he had been having conversations with him and his mother on the phone of like, there's this really cute redhead out here
Nuh-uh.
that I think you would like really vibe with. You're both dancers. You're da-da-da-da. You're both from the South. And so I had no idea of any of this, but he came out with a preconceived notion that like, we're going to start hanging out. And I, who was about my business,
Yeah, you were.
or my parents were sending me back home,
Good
I was
job.
like, no, thank you, sir. Like, not about it. And he will attest to this. He was like, I was a tough nut to crack. Yeah. I was a tough nut to crack. So he was like trying, and we would hang out. And I was like, okay, whatever. I was like doing something in the back.
Did you find him cute, or were you just like,
No.
oh,
I did not.
you're all about your business?
Yes.
I do know how much I love that you were all about your business.
And I feel terrible because for him, it was love at first sight.
Oh.
But for me, I was like,
This is
okay,
amazing.
whatever.
This is amazing.
But this is when it changed, and I will be very transparent about it. We were hanging out. We got forced to go to a dance class together by this acting coach.
Oh my
and
God.
I remember plain as day in the hallway being like, he would try to talk to me and be like, okay, like not having it, like very rude. I should not have been this rude, and that's on me.
Wow.
But I was just like, also backstory, this is like the second guy this acting coach like tried to like set me up with. So I was like not into
so
it.
you were
Gosh, it was
not
like, it
into
was for
it.
him,
Leave
it
me
was like
alone.
acting coach / matchmaker.
Matchmaker, yeah.
Yeah.
Of 15-year-olds. It's a little weird.
It's a little weird.
But I digress. So yeah, I was like over it. I was over it. I was like, just let me be here and do my job. Okay, so yeah, I was being like very rude in the hallway, not having it. Because like I said, this was like the second guy they tried to hook me up with. And I was just like.
That's a big part of the story, though.
Yes.
That explains where you were coming from.
Right.
I'm
So
glad
it
you told us
wasn't
that.
completely irrational that
Yeah.
I was being a little standoffish. Forgive me. But then we go in class. It was a Shane Sparks class. I remember everything about it because at the end of class, they pull you out into do like little groups. And they pulled like the boys out because there were never that many guys in class back then. And I saw him dance for the first time. And
got
he
chills.
did his little like Chris Brown hat trick thing that he still does to this day. And it got me. And I was like, freaking A, man. All right, let's do this.
I love this. I got chills.
And
great.
that's how it got me. Danced his little way into my heart. The boy band had like since dissolved. That's when we moved to Atlanta. He was like figuring himself out what he wanted to do again. But he got a few of his like best friends and some of the ex-band members to come do 2 of their original songs, plus like an NSYNC song or 2, which was like our favorite band. That's what we like initially bonded over. So they did like a 3-piece like set of NSYNC and their original music, which was so
At
fun.
your wedding?
Yes. It was
That's
like, you know, like
amazing.
when Justin
Everyone was
Bieber like
dancing, I'm
sings
sure.
like to the One Less Lonely Girl type of thing. Because the whole time, again, TMI, but like the whole time, like while we were together, it had to be a secret because the boy band had to be single. And so I never got to be like,
Oh, that's right. That's a big thing.
Yeah.
Okay, can we just say that this happens a lot? Right?
Yes.
That this is a common thing where if you're in a boy band and you're a boy, you're
have to
supposed to
appear
be
single.
Same
Yeah.
thing for women too,
yes.
right?
Yeah. So like we could never
Wow.
say we were dating. And this was when social media was like first starting. So like no pictures together, no anything. If I'm there and fans would recognize, I'd be like, oh yeah, it's just my friend. I'm here supporting my friend. So like
That's
I
a
never,
lot to take on too at that age.
as a child, yeah.
When could you
Yeah.
break it? And you could only
Wow.
break it to people like after he had left the band, right?
To
Or-
like our friends obviously knew, but to like anyone that was like a fan of the band, yeah, it was never a thing until band was over,
Wow.
which was like 10 years almost. maybe not that long, like 8 years, like something long.
Michelle, that is wild.
We got married at 10 years, so maybe 6-7 years of like not really being able to like publicly talk about it, which sounds
That's
so
wild.
silly because we're not like Angelina Brad Pitt, but like it was a thing.
No, it's a
you know?
thing.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
so yeah, having that moment where like I actually got to be the girl he sang to from the stage, type of like reliving our childhood that we never got to have at the wedding, was just so sweet for me.
This is like the most storybook tale. Like, I had no idea. I knew we were going to get a good story, but like, what are we getting from you? This is amazing. But
I
also
know.
very challenging. Like, that's challenging.
For
that's
sure.
really hard. And
Yeah, it's things
y'all
that
went
like
through a lot.
yeah, we had to, again, you have to be very strict and determined and motivated within yourself and like know who you are, know your boundaries, know all of these things. Very
Wow.
self-disciplined at a young age because yeah, he's touring across the world and we have to like figure that out. 12-hour time differences at the age of 16, or like I'm on set working long hours and you know, fans
Well, that said, did
throwing
you ever?
themselves, you know,
Because you
there's-
had like a long distance relationship for
Mhm.
a long time. Like,
Yeah.
were there ever moments where you were like, "Ooh, I don't know if it's gonna work," or was it just always like, "You're my person"?
I would never say that the distance was the issue. There was always external factors because we started dating so young. We started at like 15. So obviously like people were like, you got to date around. You got to like see what else is
I
out
see.
there. So there were always those things. And you know, it was never a perfect relationship for 10 years. Like there were definitely ups and downs. But I just kind of always knew that he was my person. So regardless through it all, like I kind of just like stuck through and we worked through everything. He also from a young age just knew like irrationally, like even to this day we laugh about it. Like when he was first touring in Japan, I think, was it Japan or Europe that was first? Whichever one. It was before like you could text overseas. Like you had to have like Viber or like buy Skype credits.
Oh,
like do y'all remember
yeah.
that?
Yeah.
So he would stay up all night and we would like talk on the phone because that was when I would be awake. So he would stay up, we'd talk on the phone for like 6 hours. And then he would like sleep on the bus to the show. And that would be the only sleep he would get, do the show. come home, do whatever like appearances he needed to do, come home, call me, stay up all night. That's when we would talk. We would like make little lists during the day because we couldn't text each other. So we'd make lists of things we wanted to talk to each other about and like Skype for hours. And then, so like he wouldn't sleep because he wanted to talk to me. And this was at like 15. And all the bandmates who were all older than him were like, what are you doing? This like, you're a teenager, go out, have fun. You're across the country. And like to most rational adults, yeah, that would make sense. What are you doing? But we just always kind of like had
True
this
love. I love
understanding.
Michelle, when are we making the movie
about your
of
life.
you and TC?
I'm down. Hallmark call. I'm down.
I'm not joking. Y'all might think like, we're gonna talk when the camera stops rolling because I'm not joking. Well, this is fascinating, and I'm really clued into. I love you were just so grounded, and even like your body. Sorry if you don't mind me saying, just how you just described having to know your boundaries at such a young age and what you were into and who you are. Like I am just blown away by that. And I want to delve more. I feel like we're already on the edge of your plot twist. There's so many plot twists.
Yeah.
But does this lead into like, where did you go from here, from the child actor to where you are now? And like, what was some of that journey of knowing yourself and what you're capable of? And I'm just so curious to hear more.
I think the pivot really happened after I was on my show. So we had, like I said, 2 seasons living in Atlanta.
When you were series regular.
Okay. Yeah, on the quad. And then the show got canceled. And so I moved back home. And, you know, that's usually
Back Atlanta at the time, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You know,
Wait, I'm confused. You moved back home to
LA.
Atlanta.
To LA.
Oh, LA.
From Atlanta.
Oh, got it.
to LA.
The show was shooting in Atlanta.
Got it.
Yes. So we just wrapped the show. It had just gotten canceled. We were in Atlanta. So I moved back home to LA. And traditionally in the industry, you work your way up. And so you start with the co-stars, you get the guest stars, you get the recurrings, you get the series regulars, and then you just continue to get series regulars because that's how the industry was.
You're at that level now.
The show got canceled right as the industry shifted. So that was not what happened. And that was my first big like, oh, I may have to pivot. It wasn't the pivot yet, but it was the first like inkling that the thing that I had been planning for and building up to and working towards my whole life may actually not happen the way I thought it was going to. And that was very like icky, you know? You're just like, I don't want to believe it, but I'm also very rational. I'm very real with myself. And so I went back to school because I had to drop out of college for those 2 years because I couldn't do it from a distance. So I went back to school for the year and was just like slowly auditioning. But where I had been auditioning like 7 times a week, multiple times a day, like that was the standard, it went to like nothing because there was a shift in what shows were being produced, who they wanted to see on screen. Like just that was the fact of the matter. And so I was like, okay, this is not what I thought would happen after coming off of my first show. But I'm going to ride it out. My agents are telling me everything's fine. You know, yes, the auditions are not what they were, but you know, it's just a season. We'll get through it. And then COVID hit. And what was a season became the reality. And there was nothing. And so this is when the pivot happened, was during COVID. And I'll tell you all the things that led up to it, which I can't take credit for because we made steps and did things not knowing we were going to have to turn that into our second form of income or our new career. And so that's why I really do think it was a blessing that these things happened because I did not choose to pivot. I was dragged into this pivot kicking and screaming, really.
I love you being honest about that.
It's just the truth. And I remember sitting in the car with him, like crying, like, I don't want to do this. I get emotional now thinking about it.
Emotional
because
talk about it.
It's the best thing that ever happened to me. And now looking back on it, I can understand that. But in the moment, and even now, like, I love acting. And it is so sad to have pivoted from that. But I have to have faith that, like, there will be a time. Your crying is making me cry.
No, it's okay. Because I feel you. I hear you.
I think every actor that has been doing this long enough can relate to this feeling. So I feel comfortable like sharing this.
About that. Yeah.
And it becomes so much of your identity too, which is the thing I should probably go to therapy for. But so what happened is we got married in 2019. And these are like the fun coincidences that led into our pivot. YouTube was kind of becoming a thing, and we were like, let's film our honeymoon. So we went and we bought like a camera, and we bought a little Osmo Pocket little camera. They had just come out. And so we filmed our honeymoon and like made a YouTube video about it. And we were like, that's fun. TC was still like trying to figure out what to do. And he was like, let's just start making YouTube videos. So we were like, sure. So like once a week we would like put up a random YouTube video. And that's how we started learning cameras. And then COVID happened and everything was shut down. And so all of our like actor friends and musician friends were just like trying to do things during their free time. And so one of our friends had gotten a deal with Instagram. They had like just come out with Reels. And so they were trying to get creators to start posting Reels. So he'd gotten like a 10 reel deal with Instagram. And they were like, you need to post 10 Reels once a week, but they can be about whatever you want. And he was an actor, but he can sing, and was like, I want to like use this to showcase that I can sing. Would you guys come and shoot like mini music videos for me? And we were like, sure, why not, on our little Osmo Pocket? Like, totally fine. So we did that. And that was our first like dabble into filming for other people. Still not thinking that that was going to have to be our pivot, that that was going to be our new career path. We started doing that. And then the next thing we knew, one of our other friends who was a musician was like, I wrote this EP during COVID and I just want to film videos for it, because what else are we doing right now? We need this outlet to be creative. So we went to his apartment during COVID and shot like a 5 music video thing for him, like not knowing what we're doing. We're not trained. We've taught ourselves completely via YouTube University. Like,
Can we say YouTube University is real?
it is
Because
totally real.
Amazing.
I have troubleshooted so many things
Yes.
learning how to edit this podcast with Anna via YouTube
and how much she
University.
encourages me, both of you. You have always said this to me, and
Yeah.
you're like, if you can't figure it out, YouTube
YouTube it.
YouTube it. Yes,
The verb.
totally.
And this is
It's a
also
verb.
how you troubleshoot on set as a producer. There's so many times when I turn to someone like John and I'm like, let's YouTube it.
Yeah, it's the new like Google it. It's
Yeah.
like YouTube it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because it's so true. Like during COVID, everybody started posting videos, and now there's like such an array of content. You can literally find a video to help with anything on there.
It's
Like I was trying to fix something on my fridge the other day, and I was like, YouTube, I figured it out.
What do you got?
But yeah, so we started making like videos for him. And when the world kind of opened back up and he signed to a label, that label saw those videos that we did and were like, hey, why don't you, here's a small budget. Why don't you make a real music video for him? And so that's when we were like, oh,
amazing.
people might actually pay us to do this. We got to get real equipment. Like we got to go invest in some real equipment. This is when unemployment was happening and we were getting really nice unemployment checks, and I had been saving every single one. And so we invested all of that money into equipment.
Wow.
And because we were blessed enough, I was living with my parents at the time. We didn't have rent to pay. So I spent every penny that I had on equipment. And I was like, all right, he was convinced. He was like, this is what we can do. And I was like, I don't want to do this. But he was like, I know we can do it. And then the opportunities just kept happening.
Wow.
And like, you know, when the doors just keep opening, you have to walk through them.
Yep.
So I was like, okay, I believe in you. I don't see it. I'm like walking by faith and not by sight right now, because I don't even want to do this, but I love you. I believe in you. The opportunities are here. I'd be dumb not to.
Wow.
Bought all this equipment, and it's kind of like snowballed ever since. And so that is why I say I went kicking and screaming into this pivot, because now we own a production company, and now I'm a creative director, and I'm a director, and I'm a producer, and I'm this multi-hyphenate because I have to be, not necessarily because I wanted to, but now I'm so grateful for all of that, because when all of my actor friends were struggling during COVID because there was no work, we were making more than we could have even imagined, had so many jobs because this other world had opened. When these doors that I thought this was going to be my end all be all those doors closed.
Wow.
And I'm so grateful, because I don't know what I would have done without
And
it.
dare I say, if you ever go back to acting, when you go back to acting, you will have that skill set that then will make you stronger.
1,000%.
You know, I do believe that the more roles you know to do on how to do them on set, like for me, I just took an acting class. It's like, I'm not an actor.
I love that.
But it's
Acting
like
for
as a
non-actors.
director.
Wait, I love that.
so,
Yeah.
So knowing how to direct makes you a stronger actor, and vice versa.
Totally.
Yeah.
I would always say that my favorite directors on our show were ones that used to be actors, because they were an actor's director. Because, every week you would have an
that too.
episode and every episode had a different director. And so you were having to like relearn their process. They were having to learn your process every time.
Consistently as a series regular, you would come up with that. Yeah.
Can you actually speak a little bit more about that? Why is that? Like, what is the difference between the direction you get from a director that has strictly just been a writer director or just a director versus the direction you get from an actor director?
I think for me, and I don't want to speak for everybody or every director, but for me personally, they worried or they cared more about like your process. They cared more about the why behind why I got to do something as opposed to just make sure you hit this mark and then make sure you hit this mark.
Yep.
And as someone who this was my first series regular, I cared so much and I wanted to make sure that I was doing a good job because you're the guest star. You can come in and out. And if you don't like kill it, like it's not the end of the world. And sometimes that happens. Like you don't kill every job that you book.
Nope.
But as the regular, like you really carry the weight of the show. And gratefully it was an ensemble cast. It wasn't like I was number one on the call sheet, but I wanted to make sure that I was doing my part. And so when you would have those directors that felt like they cared equally about your role and what your character brought to the table versus more caring about the lighting or the camera. And obviously you have to have all of that. But certain directors just care more about the technical side and some characters or some directors care more about the character and like the why. And like, if I had a moment of like, my character wouldn't do this and granted, I did not speak up as much as my co-star who has now become one of my best friends. I learned so much from her on this. She was a vet. She's still a vet. She's still working. But she was the first one to show me and be like, no, that doesn't make sense. Like my character wouldn't do this and really like speak up for her character. And so seeing the directors that were like, okay, then let's talk about this. Like, let's have a dialogue about it.
Yeah.
Like I thought that was really cool.
That is really cool.
And so I know not every opportunity and every job like allows for that either. Now being on the other side, sometimes I hate when the actor or the talent is like, well, I think I would be like, I did not ask. I didn't ask.
That is something to be said about series regulars on TV shows do carry the creative weight of being, and they know that they've followed that character through many seasons.
Especially when the director just came in, but you've been doing this for 2 seasons. Yes.
So it's actually expected from a series regular to speak up if something doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and it reminds me of how, like, especially if you're number one on the call sheet, if you do lead the ensemble, like the pressure that you're under to be a leader and be a good leader.
Yeah.
You know, like there's so much on that actor that's more than just acting.
Totally. Yeah. I learned so much from being able to watch all of those people.
That's really cool.
Just having the luxury of acting in different genres and different fields like that, I feel like has made me a more well-rounded director. And I'm still learning. I'm still growing, as I think everyone should be, because I didn't go to school for this, and I recognize that a lot of people did. And so I'm not perfect by any means, but I am able to use my on-set experience as an actor of like, this is what I liked from directors. This is what I didn't like from directors. This is what was effective and got across to me versus, because you have to communicate to people differently and like trial and error of like, how someone would receive something. And so like we were talking about earlier, some people you can be very blunt and direct to and be like, no, we got to go again. I'm sorry. Or like, hey, you did such a great job. I really love that take. Could we try one like this? You know,
that's very different.
Yeah. Like depending on the person, you have to know how to like navigate.
I could put a little more of that into my, maybe into.
Like I love that. Just for an option though, let's try it like this.
Anna with me is more like option one.
Yes, a compliment sandwich.
Shit sandwich or a compliment sandwich. Okay,
John just
I learned that one in my
it's
business
a
school.
compliment sandwich.
Yes.
Actually, what's funny about this is one of our guests, Lauren, a development exec, talks about that too in giving notes to writers.
Yeah.
Whereas like, you know, it's like the buns also
Yes.
you have to be compliments and then you give the shit. Yes.
It's so funny. I actually learned that because I went to school for business. I have my degree in business, and one of my business communications classes is where they like talked about that and like writing a professional email, which seemed so dumb in the moment. But now when I'm actually using all of these things, I'm like, oh, the amount of people that don't know how to give a compliment sandwich when they give us notes on an edit, I'm like, whoo, I understand it now. And it makes me so aware to like make sure I'm doing it.
Absolutely.
To other people.
Yeah. And as a producer too, like speaking from experience, you know, trying to get a location for very little money in YouTube land. You throw compliments left and right. This is amazing.
It's a flattery shower out there. It's more than a sandwich. It's a flattery buffet.
Right. It's almost like the opposite, right? Where it's just like most of the sandwich is flattery, and then maybe in the middle there's one
slice of meat.
single lettuce leaf.
That's so funny. And that's what my least favorite part of the job is the producing role.
Oh,
like that I've had to pivot into is like
That's interesting.
so many times when I was on the show, people were like, you'd be a great producer or you'd be a great director. And I'd always be like, no, thank you. I don't want to do it.
That is not me.
And so now I laugh thinking back on it because I'm like, now I'm doing it. And there's parts that I do love. The director people were right. I love being a director. The producer people, they were wrong. I do not like being a producer. I do it because I'm capable and I am good at it because of my business background. But I don't enjoy that part. That stresses me out.
It's a
so
tough
much.
job.
It stresses
It's a
me
tough
out.
job.
I admire
It
it
is, yeah.
so much. I admire it so much.
It's a tough job.
Yeah.
Can we dive into more into your creative process and what you're intellectually curious about currently?
Okay. So creative process, it depends on what job I'm doing at the moment. Like if I'm in my Michelle DeFreitas actor head, my creative process is very different than like my Shot by the Carters Michelle Carter head.
Ooh.
But also, and not to like break a ton of people's hearts, but I don't have a massive process. Even as an actor, like I would go take all these classes and everyone's like, what is your thing before an audition? Like, what's your blah, 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 blah. And to me, that was all very like woo-woo because I'm such a realist and I should probably implement more of it. But I just more like just go with what I need at the moment. There are certain things like on a technical side, like if I'm producing something or if I'm writing up a pitch for a client for a music video per se, because that's what we mainly are doing. Like I'll have them send over the song. I'll listen to the song on repeat while I'm scrolling and looking for locations. Like I would say that's a staple in my process on that side. But when it comes to like, I don't journal. I don't like make sure I have my tea at 9 a.m. when I wake up. Like I'm not like one of those people.
I love it.
And like
I love it because so many actors are. So I'm so glad you're
that's
not.
the thing.
I
Yeah.
love it.
I've always been like, what's wrong with me? Because so many, like you said, so many actors are like, this is my process.
And it's not like you're like a Meisner person,
right?
Or someone
I've
else person.
sat through a Meisner class before, and I'm just like, get me out of here. Not that it's not valid, but just like
Meisner.
for me, right? I just like. I don't know. I feel like I sound so pretentious being like, I don't need a process. But it's not that I
No.
don't. It's just, maybe I'm just not super conscious of it. I
Well,
don't
and
know.
sometimes it takes naming it to have, like, I think for a long time before I actually started training as an actor, I had a process. I just didn't have a name for it.
Yeah.
But it was my own thing. And then as I started like learning different techniques and learning other things, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's sort of what I already do.
Yeah.
And maybe I just didn't put a name to it. And
Like when
maybe
it
just don't
comes
need
to like breaking down a script, like of course I have like a system that I do, or when it comes to getting to set in the morning. But like I always joke with my old co-star from the quad, she's very much a process person. She is very much like she does her like mommy made me mash my M&M like warm-ups and like all of those things. And I'm just sitting there like, okay, all right, you do you, girl. Like you're good. So I'm not going to judge you if that works for you. But like we would always just like laugh at how different we were because I was just like,
It
just wasn't my thing.
yeah, it's
Well,
great.
maybe I should rephrase the question because maybe I just want to know for you, like what gets you up in the morning as a creative? Like what is it that you want to put out into the world? What is it that you're focused on putting out into the world? Or what kind of stories do you gravitate to?
Yeah. As an actor, I've always loved fun, action, things that bring people joy. Like it was never on my wish list to do one of those like emotional crying, like, oh, it changed my mental forever. Like I love a sitcom, guys. Like that's my favorite thing. Like maybe it's because I grew up in the Disney Channel world, but like The Office is my favorite show. Like I love things that bring people joy. So from the acting side, that's what always excites me. That's what I love. I know that's not like the pretentious actor answer. Everyone's like, I want that role that's going to get me
but
the
it's
Oscar.
The honest answer.
But that's the honest
it's what
answer.
you're interested
Like,
in. Yeah.
I remember watching something once and like it was like a TMZ interview because I used to watch that religiously. And they asked an actor, like, would you rather like a long running show or franchise or the Oscar role? And everyone was like, the Oscar. I was like, no, if I could say that I was like the Michael Scott of like The Office or someone that like they grew up with and like shaped their childhood because it was just so fun and funny. That was their escape. Like when they were sad, they would turn to this show. Like that to me is like way more than like an award or like a 7-hour standing ovation at Sundance or whatever. Like
That's really cool.
I'm just,
I
that
love
to
that.
me, I'm just so much more practical. But maybe that's just because that's what I watched growing up. And so that's what always spoke to me.
Mhm.
But I just feel like we need more laughter and joy in the world.
Yes, ma'am.
And like
Agreed.
there's enough like
That's a fantastic answer.
Oh,
dark movies out there.
that is a great answer.
But then when
Yeah.
it comes to like the business side, like what TC and I do, like we love bringing our dance background into anything that we do. And it's funny because I'm making the connection here, but we also love bringing humor into anything music video wise that we shoot as well, because always finding ways to bring some levity and bring some like fun and humor, even to like the most tough like artists that we work with that want to be so hard. And I'm like, and now smile. And I'm like, and that's how you win a fan. And that's how you get a follower for life, because they want to know the real you, not the like persona of you. So I think that's on that side, that's what really like drives us creatively, is helping people become well-rounded artists too. Not just like, oh, I'm a hip hop artist, so I have to do what the hip hop world does. Like you can like show other aspects of your personality. So I really love bringing that out and finding that.
It seems like you bring joy out.
That's
and
the
then
goal.
that authentically
That's really
connects with
cool.
our audience.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like people need that and people resonate with that, and you're friends with somebody because they make you laugh or because they make you happy. So you're
Yeah.
going to follow or listen to someone's music for those same reasons. So like, how do we make you their friend is kind of like what we try to bring on that side of things.
I love that. The two of you bring that in a room
Thank
as
you.
well. You know, so
Thank
you
you.
get, so that's seen, you know, that,
Yeah.
that tracks, that goes, you're successful. And you're just like that as people, I think. So I can see that's how you want to bring out that in your art. That's really cool. It's cool to make that connection. I hadn't heard that before. It was a great question. Can you tell us a story about you that gives us a little insight into your character, a little insight into who Michelle is?
Yeah, I think I've had a lot of like defining moments over my lifetime. I think I kind of touched on it earlier, like Hurricane Katrina, going through that as a child, I think really determined kind of how I'm going to handle challenges throughout life. And not to like beat the dead horse here, but my parents did such a good job of navigating through that, and something that could have been very traumatic for a child, like losing their house, living in a trailer, having to go eat at a community tent because you can't cook, eating MREs. Like they made all these things fun, and they made it an adventure versus this horrible, devastating thing that happened to our community, that happened to us. Like shifted my mentality from like a victim mentality, which could have easily been happening. Like, why me? Why did this happen to me? Why did, you know, but they shifted that into like, okay, look at this unique opportunity that we have. Look at this exciting adventure we get to go on. And so I think that experience really shaped how I view the rest of my life. Not saying that I handle every obstacle like perfectly, or that I view every single negative thing as like a great opportunity, like, but I do my best to try to view things that way. And in this industry, you have a lot of those times that like beat you down. And so if it weren't for having that foundation of like, what's the worst that could happen? I've already lost everything type of mentality, it's allowed me to kind of like survive this industry where a lot of people do get eaten up and spit out. And I think that's one of the things that's prevented that from happening to me.
You're
I
so
think.
resilient.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try
I'm
to
emotional
be.
again. That's such
I
a-
love you.
I never
I
knew this
love
about your
you.
Katrina history.
Yeah.
It's really inspiring.
Yeah, it is.
Thank you. Yeah, it again, like you don't choose what gets to happen to you. You just choose like how you react to it. And so yeah, I try to take that into every day.
That's such a young age.
And as someone that has worked with you, I can say that it definitely shows up.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I really appreciate
Where
that.
it doesn't matter what kind of curveballs are being thrown at you. You're just like, no problem. We'll
Yeah.
take care of it.
I'm just
Let's
yelling
do it.
inside my head, you know, not on the outside. It's my acting face of like, yeah, I'll totally do that. You want to change everything right now? Sure.
I would love to hear from you some big takeaways. Since you've been in this industry for so long, what are some of the things that you wish you had known back when you were starting as a teenager,
Yeah.
or even in your 20s that you know now?
I definitely think on the more practical side, the industry is so relationship based. It is who you know, but not always in the like, oh, my uncle's a producer way, but just like the friendships and the relationships that you make along the way are so important. And for someone who is natively an introvert, I think that is something I did not take advantage of enough growing up, because I was shy and I never really put myself out there in the way that like I can be better at now as an adult. But there's so many opportunities that I had as a kid that now I'm like, oh, if I had that job now, I would go about it this way or try to make more of that opportunity this way. And maybe that's not always the best way to think about things, of like what I would have changed in the past, but it's just a reminder to like take advantage of every opportunity that you're given, because they're not always going to be there. And so just make friends, be nice. Like the biggest thing in this industry is just be kind. Be kind to people, because they're just surviving like you are in this industry that is so crazy and so harsh and so unkind a lot of the time. So if you can be the one person that's nice to them, like you don't know what that could lead to. I think another thing I would recommend and suggest is just always being a student, always learning, never thinking that you know everything or that you've learned everything, because the industry is always changing. There's always something new to learn. There's always new equipment that's coming out, new styles, new AI that you have to fight with. There's always something, so always learn. And I think even if you do know more than the person that's talking to you right now, being humble and just listening. And I think doing more listening than talking is not what I'm doing on this podcast, but
That's not what you're
it
doing.
is
Fantastic.
We are
in
here.
the workplace.
We're here for you to impart your wisdom,
Yeah.
so that's okay.
In the workplace, it is something that I do try to implement, and sometimes I'm better than others. And I do sometimes, transparently have like this like chip on my shoulder of like, oh, I'm just this, you treat me like I'm this cute little young girl who doesn't know anything. But I'm like, no, I've been doing this for a while and I've been through a lot, and I have a lot of like real life experience that a lot of people know nothing about, because this sounds so cheesy, but I joke with TC that we have our Hannah Montana lives, where like there's one set of our life that like only a certain subset of our friends or people know. And then there's this whole other world, like our teenage life, that like not a lot of people know what we did and who we were and the lives that we lived and the places we've traveled and like all that real world experience too. And so just having patience with people is a big thing that I still work on every day. Like just humility, patience, always be a student. Listen, you don't know everything, even when you think you do. Like, I think that is just good tenets for life, but also in this industry.
And be nice. You said be nice. I love that. Those
Yeah.
are wonderful
Be nice.
takeaways.
Be nice.
Audience
Be
wins.
kind.
Those are wonderful, wonderful takeaways.
And that's
the twist.
Let's go, ladies. Cut it all. Don't use any of
This
that.
outro idea was
This was
courtesy of
amazing.
Michelle.
Michelle, you're incredible.
Thank
You
I'm
have been-
fired immediately. I'm
No.
fired.
You're not fired.
Loved
That
it.
was an incredible outro. Thank you so much for being an incredible guest. We have
Thank you.
loved every second of having you on.
I appreciate it.
Thanks for being with us, everyone. This was super fun. Please click like, subscribe, whatever platform you're watching us on, and we hope to see you next time. Thank you so much.
Bye.